Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Little Kings podcast. I would say a special episode of the podcast, but it's more of a cursed episode of the podcast. Unfortunately, we had a few technical difficulties. You're going to hear a little bit of a sound issue with Ryan's mic. You might notice he has a different mic right now in front of him than when we start the actual podcast. But forgive us. It's a long one. It gets to be a good one after the cursedness. We'll get through it together. My name's Ryan, as always, aka Penguin Monster.
And my name is Ryan, aka No Mercy Merc. On this episode, we cover Nvidia releases a brand new lineup of GPUs. Doc opens up about his anxiety following his Twitch ban. Game developers. Does love for gaming or money make a game good? And The Witness. Why it's the Little King's best gaming experience.
Let's go!
All right, so I want to jump straight into some big news.
Oh boy.
Coming out of the hardware
Oh yeah.
sanction of like PCs, you know?
Like literally big. Like
literally
Yeah.
freaking massive. Of course, I'm talking about the Nvidia GPUs that they just came out with yesterday in real time. This is it was September 1st that it came out, and they came out with three. So it was the 3070, the 3080, and the 3090.
Yep.
Did you watch the whole reveal thing they did, or
Nope.
you just saw the aftermath?
Yeah. I was I don't know what it was, but I kind of just missed that there was a live stream, and you texted me partway through and you're like, these are insane. So then I just like looked at the video clips afterwards type of thing.
It's like it blows my mind. For those listening, it was like they came out with these three. They announced all three prices, and the prices are ridiculously low compared to what is currently out in the market. It was like, I don't know if you remember the prices exactly, but it was like the lowest one was $399.
I believe so. I think it's $399, $599, and then $14.99.
Yeah, so big jump there, but
it competes with the Titan.
Yeah. It was literally like they were comparing all of them to the 1080 Ti, I'm pretty sure. And they were like, the 3070 is comparable. So that's
Right.
the low end.
Which wasn't
And
the
then-
1080 Ti? Was that 800 or 900? Something like that?
No, I think that one was like 1200.
Oh, was that much? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I have a 2080 Super, and that was like 900-ish at the time. So the Ti is one step above that.
Oh, interesting.
And so they compared the 3070 to the lowest one, the 399. That's insane. And then they tiered them up, like the next one's twice as good as the 2080 Ti, and the third one's 3 times as good as the 2080 Ti, which blows my mind.
Right.
They said it could do 8K gaming at 60 frames per second.
That
8K
was a
gaming.
3090, right?
Yeah, the 3090.
Yeah.
What? We're at that point in technology already?
I mean, are we at that point in monitor technology?
Maybe not. No, we're definitely not.
Right.
But they're ready for it.
But I mean, 4K at over 60 frames to me sounds even better than 8K at 60 frames.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
there's a lot of pros that would actually downscale their resolution so that they could get more frames. And
Right.
that would be perfect if you didn't have to give up either. You could get the 4K and the 144 hertz or 240 or whatever you're trying to push.
absolutely. Yeah. So which one are you buying?
I really want to go with the 3090.
All right. So don't you think that's overkill?
Yeah, I don't know what I'll be
Like,
doing
how
in the
could you
future.
possibly? I just feel like, how could you possibly? Wouldn't that extra bit be better spent on other parts to your PC, other streaming gear, that kind of stuff?
I feel like I'm perfectly happy with my setup right now. I don't need a new GPU, period. Like I don't need anything.
So I'll just get the
stream in
$1,500 one.
I stream at 1080, 60 frames. There's no dropped frames. Like I'm good.
Right.
The thing I really need is internet. We've talked about that in the
Yeah.
past,
Well,
but
only
that's
so many
not readily
options.
available.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, but I'm just thinking like, all right, I'm envisioning boom, Twitch, YouTube, take off. We're in a free fall of just followers coming after followers. We're producing content like it's no one's business.
Sure.
I can render a 30-minute video in like 2 minutes.
That's true. GPU rendering really makes a difference. I said that.
Yeah.
I had trouble saying rendering. Yeah, I get that. But I just feel like the 599 one will still be where I need it to be at. And I do I feel like I could use an upgrade right now. I'm running an AMD GPU right now, and I have had troubles with drop frames in the past while I was streaming. The games look fine when I play, but when I stream, it can get a little intensive for the computer, and I feel like having an Nvidia GPU would be super useful. I was thinking about getting the last chipset, but now it's like there's such a performance increases, and the pricing really is not that bad to go with like the 3080. So I feel like I'm definitely going to grab it September 17th.
Yeah, so they're staggering them coming out too. I think it's September 11th for the 3070, the 17th for the 3080, and then the 24th for the
Oh, really?
3090.
I had seen like October for the 3070.
Oh, was that it? Oh yeah, they did push the lower grade one out like a good bit. That's their technique.
What I thought. Well, right, because people don't
It's
want to
like-
wait and they're just going to
Yeah,
snatch it up.
It's only $200 more. I mean, go ahead and get it now. Why wait?
Yeah.
They're taking the millennials for.
They're
granted.
also totally going to come out with either a Super or a TI because there's that huge discrepancy between the 3080 and the 3090.
That's a really good point.
They'll have like a mid price point for sure.
That is a good point. Huh. I actually didn't think of that. Because like when do you think they would even release that? You would think
I
that'd
have
be in
no
their
idea.
original lineup. But I guess
I thought they
If
do
people
that
want
usually
more
like
than
halfway
the-
through the life cycle. So it
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they release yearly or if it's every couple of years. But yeah, I feel like they usually throw a TI or a Super version out there to try to get if there's like a slowdown in purchasing because they're maybe waiting for the next gen. A lot of times people will scoop up the middle ones.
That's true. That's true. I just wonder where that demand is in that middle range between those two. That I wonder if they would actually upsell more if they had just released a TI straight from the get-go.
Possibly.
Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to know, and I'm sure they kind of know from past performance and stuff like that. So like you're talking about current gen
Mhm.
and then this next gen coming. What price would a 2080 Ti have to drop down to? Like
It's got to be sub 500, right?
if if it's comparable to the 399 one and it's old gen, it's like
I don't
are these
know.
things gonna
It's
be
like they're obsolete.
$200?
Yeah.
That's wild. And then like
But why would you buy them at any price higher than the 3060?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, might as well just get the 3060.
Yeah.
So I
But,
feel
like-
like usually a GPU is a decent investment. Like you can usually recoup some of your money, but
Yeah.
not in this case
No.
at all.
Like if I didn't have my return policy, I had just lost so much money on my GPU.
Yeah. Yeah, you're lucky you got that deal going with Best Buy.
But like the thing that I love about it the most is if it brings current gen down so low, it's like entry barrier to entry so low for PC building.
Oh,
Because
for
the GPU is
sure.
typically the most expensive part in a PC. And if you can get that low in good quality, oh my gosh. Like next gen consoles are like, why even buy those at this point?
Next gen consoles always get destroyed by basically the next chipset to come out.
I know.
But I mean, it is the lowest priced one, the 3060, is going to be the price of an entire console. So you still got to get all the other parts for a computer.
True.
Um,
Yeah.
And, look, obviously we're both PC guys all the way. But there's something to be said about the plug and play nature about a console. You don't really have to bother with a bunch of technical troubleshooting and that kind of stuff. With which PC, sometimes it runs smoothly from the get-go, and then other times you tell a buddy that he should get a PC, he's really going to love it, PS4 sucks, and then he's stuck for 2.5 weeks trying to troubleshoot some issue with his CPU, and it turns out it was a defective one that got sent to him, and then he has to go to Amazon and return the first one and wait for the second one to come, and then it'll finally work. That might be a story from experience, but it might be a little bit anecdotal, but it does happen.
And both of us went through issues with our PlayStations, correct? That we had to actually send them back, and they sent me a brand new one because something had malfunctioned or something. And like if that happens in PC, it's like, all right, time to troubleshoot.
You're on your own.
And
yeah.
you troubleshoot for like days and trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
Search through forums instead of just calling someone up and being like, hey, can you send me a shipping box and I ship this thing back to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
might want to move your mic around a little bit. There's a little bit of feedback. But yeah, so I think the PS4, I've had 2 of them. One got stolen in a move, unfortunately. So I had to get a second one. The original PS4 that I had was fine. Worked fine for years. Then I got the Slim, which I believe was the version you also had. And that was the one I ran into like overheating issues with. But like you said, we kind of... I think Sony sent us a box in the mail. All you did was throw it in the box, ship it out to them, and then they either gave you a new one or gave it back to you with the thing fixed. So that's always nice if you're not a technical person to just be able to do that kind of thing.
For sure. Is my mic fixed now or no?
It sounds much better now. Yeah.
Okay, good. So. Yeah, so in terms of like the whole rendering idea of the whole GPU,
right,
is like right now, I don't know if you actually know this. I don't know if I told you this yet, but if you post a video to YouTube and its resolution is 1080p, it uses a certain codec or encoder on YouTube's side to actually render it for people to view it. And if you actually post it anything above that, so 2K, they actually give you a higher quality encoder that actually makes your videos look better to everybody watching.
Oh, interesting.
Colors are more accurate, the pixelation's way less, stuff like that. So I've actually started rendering my YouTube videos in 2K. So recorded at 1080p, rendered at 2K. And so they take 3 times as long to render as they usually do for 1080.
Right, it would help to have a GPU that could kind of fly through that.
So right now, a 10-minute video takes 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The only thing I've noticed with 2K, don't you get letterboxing on the video?
No, because the aspect ratio is the same. As long as you edit it in 1080p and then upscale it at the end when you're exporting it.
Oh, okay.
That's when everything's kind of okay, and it kind of tricks YouTube to thinking it's 2K.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it uses the better codec.
Yeah.
So,
can we just talk real quick on the 3090 about just how massive of a piece of hardware this thing is?
Oh, she's thick.
She's dummy thick. Like, the dude pulled out like the 3080. It was obviously like a quarantine event, so it was a guy just in his kitchen, and he pulls out the 3080. It's like from out of the counter. It's like a decently big GPU, but it's nothing you're not used to looking at. And then I feel like he has to heave up this 3090, hold it with both hands like it's a prized fish that he's caught. And it's just, I don't even know if that would fit in my case, honestly. Looking at it, I don't think it would. I think I would have to buy a new case if I was going to get the 3090.
I'm interested to start seeing like the big YouTubers get a demo version of or a pre-sent one and start seeing their builds in this.
Yeah.
Because I do want to see if there's case limitations and how this baby really performs, because the numbers are great.
Right, but there's been no real benchmarking outside.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I am too. I I think I'm gonna make the plunge probably and get for the 3080, not the 3090. I could buy three 3080s almost for the price of the 3090. Do they still have like can you use like an SLI bridge still and use two GPUs?
Yeah, so a lot of games in recent times have actually not benefited from crossfiring.
Oh, interesting.
They actually dislike the crossfire and behave very poorly compared to just running a single. So,
Gotcha. Because back in the old days, like you could definitely do that. And I was going to say you could just buy two 3080s for less than the 3090 and probably get similar performance.
true. That's big brain, actually.
I wonder if you could stream off of one and then set the game off of one. Like almost like having a two PC setup, but all within the same case.
Ooh. I don't know. I know people have built two PCs in one case. Like two motherboards.
Oh, that I could see.
Like,
yeah.
Like they make a monster case for that.
I love like the custom build PCs, like even going crazier than that, where it's like a PC built into the desk or like laid out onto the wall or different things like that. Those are always so interesting to me.
I know. So cool.
Some people have amazing like stream setups or battle stations, whatever you want to call it. I always, there's a subreddit called r/battle stations. Have you seen that? Yeah.
No.
It's basically just people's setups. But it's almost dangerous for me to go on there because it's like I'm going to spend some kind of money if I look too long. Because there's always something where it's like, oh, that's really cool. I should do that. So,
but so anyways, when we buy our GPUs, we should correspond and do the whole Best Buy thing, the Best Buy trick.
Yeah, do you want to explain that?
Return when the TI comes out. If you do go with the 3080. So the thing with Best Buy is you can almost every time you buy technology from Best Buy, what do they do at checkout? They're like, you want to add a Geek Squad 2-year, 3-year warranty on this bad boy? On big ticket items, say yes. It doesn't matter how much the insurance is. I think my insurance on my GPU is like $150, but it's 2 years, no questions asked. Just like you bring it back within 2 years, you say, it's not performing the way I expected it. Boom, they'll take it back. They give you your full credit back minus the $150 that you spent for the insurance.
Sure.
But they give you the full value credit for what you spent on the GPU.
And you can just
or any
go
big,
ahead and
big
take
ticket
that,
item.
Put it into a
TV,
new GPU.
Anything. Yeah. So it's like you're paying $150 to rent the GPU for 2 years. That's how I say it. Because what are they going to do? They're going to rebox it, sell it as an open box item for like 80% of the cost or whatever. So then again, don't buy open box items from Best Buy either, because they could have been used for up to 2 years.
Sure.
Like that doesn't mean they were returned within a week or within their 30-day warranty. Nothing like that. That's
right.
It's hit or miss. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a cool little hack there. I might have to try that out with the 3080. I feel like we might have lost the chance for any Best Buy sponsorships in the future, but you know, that's okay.
I think they still might benefit from it, honestly, because they get $150 and they resell the item for maybe break even on that.
Yeah.
So, like, are they really? I don't know. It must be working for them somehow, because I'm sure there's a ton of people that forget about it, don't utilize it, and they end up just walking away with the money.
Right.
So.
Well, I mean, like we were saying with the current gen GPUs, if you did that deal, you're coming out way more positively than if you were to just buy the GPU and try to sell it at this point, because they kind of outpriced all the last generations.
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
So, with these GPUs coming out, I thought this would very easily lead into a Discord submitted topic, which, by the way, the Little Kings have a Discord. We got that link down in the description. Feel free to join it. We love to talk about the past episodes, kind of just hang out in general with us. And if you have any ideas, we like to feature it on the show here. So John submitted a question to us and basically said, are there any things announced that we're currently looking forward to? Or are there any current games that we wish would come out with a sequel or perhaps just come out in general? And what I think of right away and why I really want to get the 3080 is Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay.
Which is supposed to come out in November of 2020. But they have pushed that back, I think, since I was in high school. So at this point, it might be 2077. It might just be, here is the modern day Cyberpunk game. But God, I'm so excited for that game. I know you're not quite as excited, but for me, it's basically the Matrix in a video game. It's this open world that you can just explore to your heart's content. And having a 3080, they did show kind of an NVIDIA demo with the latest processors on Twitter. And the lighting and reflections in that city just looked so cool. And I just cannot wait to be in that world. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to, at least right now. I'll try to think of if there's kind of anything else that's been announced. But I'm wondering, what about you?
I'm so bad when it comes to video games because, like, I go between video games so easily, and I honestly can't think of a game right now that I'm either anticipating on coming out or want them to make a sequel of. I can't rattle even one off from the top of my head right now.
Huh.
Like, you put me on the spot. I didn't even see the Discord.
Uh-oh. We're going to have to make a cut here. Internet dropped. Oh.
I'm back.
Oh, hey. You're back, okay. But very blurry.
Oh.
That's okay. Fine. The audio is coming through good.
I'll be blurry.
Yeah.
I can't think of one. I literally...
Not a single one. There's no, like, franchise that you love and you wish another one would come out for?
Honestly, no.
I feel like I can name, like, 10 more.
I feel like they're, like... I feel like we talked about, like, all of them already. Like, obviously, I'm excited for Halo to see how that goes.
Right.
Cold War. Sure. I'll dabble in it.
Yeah. I wish they would make a GTA 6.
It was never in the GTA.
What about Skyrim? What about Oblivion?
What's Oblivion? Like
the Oblivion world. Like a sequel to Skyrim. Your mic's screwing up again, by the way.
Fudge.
We got some
these technical difficulties.
We got a lot of technical difficulties tonight. Maybe you need a new GPU, man.
I think that's it. I've got to do it.
I'm trying to think of any excuse to justify that with my wife right now. So really, you can't think of a single game? Is it just because you're enjoying the games right now?
No, I'm not really enjoying any games right now. Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like the world of video games is very, like, blah right now. I don't know. Like I look at my selection of games on my desktop, and I'm like, I don't want to open any of these. Like none of these bring me joy right now.
Huh.
So I need to find what's new for me.
And we just talked about how you've got like 200 games in your library. So,
I know.
Wow.
I don't know what it is.
Do you feel the same way about like streaming right now, or is it specific towards games?
I think it kind of bleeds over, because it's like, if I'm not excited to play a game, then I'm obviously not going to want to stream.
Well, you could do just right, but you could not stream games, I guess.
Yeah. But I could do just chatting. I could totally do that.
Yeah.
And no, I guess that Tell Me Why game that just came out on Xbox Game Pass. I really enjoyed the first chapter of that. We haven't talked about it in the stream yet, right?
No. No, and
or on the
actually,
podcast.
I wasn't. I think we were streaming at the same time, so I wasn't able to catch it. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, so it's basically a brand new game that came out. It's from the same makers that made Life is Strange.
I
Have you heard of
also
that series?
I
No?
I heard of it coming out as a game, but I don't know much about it.
Okay, it's basically like a more of like a movie than anything else where you decide what the characters do. And it's more of like a story-based game. A lot of reading, a lot of like
Kind of
your
decision
character acting
making
out.
type
Yeah,
game. Okay.
I always think of it as like a Goosebump book. Like, you
Oh,
get to
like
this
choose
page, you
your own
get to the end, you're
adventure
like,
type.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
if you want the zombie to live, flip to this page. If you want the zombie to die, flip to
Oh,
this
can we
page.
talk about that for a second? What happened to those books? Like,
Dude, I don't know.
they came out with like 300 of those things, and man, that was just a hit of nostalgia for a second. Okay. Okay. Continue on. Life is Strange, though.
Well, I think the movies fell short with the Goosebumps too.
Oh,
Like, I feel like if those had
I
caught
never
on a
saw
little bit,
the movies.
they're they're nostalgic. Like, I can rewatch them and be like, God, I remember this from when I was a kid, but gosh, they're bad. But anyways, tell me why in Life
Yeah.
is Strange series. Like, tell me why is so good. Like, it was the first chapter was like 3 hours long.
Mm.
So
That's perfect for a stream.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the story transition was perfect. There's like, I think there's like even 4 or 5 endings from the first chapter, and then from there it just splits out from chapter 2 too. So it's like you could play it the next week from me, and everything's completely different
Right. So
based on whose side you pick and stuff like that.
gotcha. So is only chapter 1 released right now, or you just got through chapter 1 so far?
I just got through chapter 1, so there's chapters 1 through 3 out right now. I don't know how many chapters they're planning on actually having, but
Okay,
it's like the
nice.
art style's beautiful. The voice acting is amazing.
Can you give me a
It's
little plot without giving too much away?
yeah. So I'll basically explain the like 2-minute trailer that they kind of give. So there's twins, a brother and a sister,
Okay.
and when they were young, their mother kind of mistreated them.
Hmm.
And there was one day that their mother was obviously mentally ill of some sort, and there was one day that she actually tried to kill one of them,
Ooh.
and somehow the mom ended up dying, being killed by one of the kids.
Mm.
And then one of the kids went to juvie for 10 years, gets out, reconnects with the sister, and then they're trying to like explain what happened. So they're telling each other like why the things went
Tell
down
me
that went
why.
down. And there's like a huge hidden message behind the whole game that I'd recommend everybody watch, because it's so relevant to like modern day culture, and like they did a phenomenal job.
Oh wow.
Phenomenal job.
I'm gonna have to
It's
check this
deep.
out. Yeah, this is like way deeper than I thought it would be.
Like I almost cried at the end of chapter 1. Like it's a 3-hour movie that you decide. Like
Oh wow.
that's the only way I can explain it. It's amazing.
I might have to check this out. And I guess because since you said it's like, it branches out so much, I mean, it's something I could stream even if we have viewers that, watch both of our streams. It might be different enough that they could still find it interesting. Huh.
And the most interesting thing is at the end of the chapter, they actually tell you how your decisions matched up with other people who have played the game already.
Oh,
So
that's
they'll be
cool.
like, you chose this, which only 29% of people chose, and most people chose the other
Oh,
one.
I
And
like
I'm
that. I like that.
Wait, I kind of feel sick for doing that, but okay. Yeah. So I would recommend it. It's on Xbox Game Pass for PC.
Oh,
So
okay.
that like you pay $1 for a free month, or it's $5 a month or something like that. Like, it's a no-brainer. It's
Wow.
totally worth that alone. Yeah.
Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you've had a good time streaming that at least.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not like one of I might go back and play all the Life is Strange honestly after this.
Would you say you're getting a little bit bored with Valorant?
Yeah.
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 I think that happened to me before you, but
Yeah.
yeah, I they did make some big changes with the last patch, which I feel like is makes me want to play it even less because I usually play Sage, and Sage really got nerfed. But yeah, I think I've said this on the podcast. I really think they need to come out with more maps. I think there's
Yeah.
been nothing. They've added a couple agents, but there's been nothing that made it feel fresh. And I know the game just came out, but it just kind of feels like the same thing over and over again to me.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's kind of getting stagnant with me too. Is the map selection, and also like I think they should make a middle tier length game. Like I wish it didn't take such a time commitment to do a 45 to 50-minute competitive game.
It is a while. It is a while.
Like it's a long time. I can't just squeeze a couple in before bed. It's like no, I need to commit.
Yeah,
to 2 or
usually
3.
It's just like one. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I get
I
that.
don't know, but like I want the competitive aspect too. So are they gonna have 2 different competitive modes where kind of Halo did it, where it's like you can play ranked doubles or ranked threes, and your
Right.
rank's different in both, kind of thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, just shooting games in general right now are just kind of like, I don't know. It might just be me in a rut too.
Yeah,
not necessarily the gaming, but
that's normal to sometimes, just not be as into things.
Yeah, sometimes I want to like go outside in nature instead of play video games, and it's like wild.
What?
I know.
You kind of lost me there, to be honest. No, I mean, I'm looking forward to that too. We've got some friends coming over to our house this weekend, and your mic's really it's like a hurricane going on over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me change my USB. One sec.
Okay. But yeah, I'm looking forward to going outside, going in the pool, doing normal life things a little bit. But yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but I've found a game that I have fallen into mild obsession with lately, which I really never thought would happen, and it's PGA Tour 2K21. I haven't played a golf game since I think it was called Tiger Woods PGA Tour in like 06. But yeah, it's drawn me in. The level of difficulty I think is perfect because it really makes you feel like if you hit a good shot, you get rewarded for it. And if you do anything slightly wrong, you get punished for it. And there's been some penguin rage on stream, to say the least, which I feel like has been mildly entertaining for people watching. It's been a much better stream hangout game than I ever anticipated. So I'm glad I picked it up, even though it's literally just a golf game. And that's it.
So like, what was I gonna say? Is there like, because I see on your screen when you're streaming, like there's that thing in the bottom right that I think is like your joystick.
Yeah.
That you have to like cock it back and then let it go or go forward or whatever.
Right.
Attachment with like a little itty bitty slit so that it has to stay perfectly straight up and down.
I'm sure you can hack your controller to do it. Sure.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. But that's actually the part of the game that I find, even though it's frustrating and I do rage at it, that's the part that's keeping me involved. I think if I was just constantly making it in the hole and just winning, it wouldn't be that interesting to me anymore.
Right. Totally.
Yeah. You're a little distracted by your mic.
I'm hanging my microphone right now. I don't even know what's going on.
Didn't you have issues with it yesterday too?
I did, but I really thought it was the USB port, but it might be a USB driver. I don't. Oh, is it bad? Oh.
No,
Sorry,
no,
you
I
made a
was just
face.
like, yeah, I
Okay.
was like, hopefully it's not, the mic itself.
I don't want it to be the mic. I love this mic.
You've had that mic for how long?
I bought it senior year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah. So like you could
And
say
we're
I'm
old men
emotionally
now,
connected to
so
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
I really like the look of it and the sound of it, and I just want it to work, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be okay.
Anyway, back to PGA.
Yeah.
I want to play. Like watching you
Get the
play makes me
game!
want to play.
I've been telling you to get the game. We
I
could
think
play
I'm
it
gonna get the
together.
game.
We could
I
rage
think
together.
I think I'm gonna get the game.
Which you really egged me on last night because I was about to shut it off because I was getting so frustrated. And you put down in chat, you're like, all right, here's the deal. You make the cut on this next 18 holes. I'll not only give you a $10 donation. I was like, ooh, $10, like whatever, between buddies. I mean, sure, send $10 donations. I'm not saying don't, but you also were like, and I'll buy the game. I was like, oh, it's on. I was like, let me put on my hat. Really, wow, some dog hair fell out of that one. But I still couldn't do it, and so that made me feel even worse. But it's okay.
You did put all your heart into that one, though.
I
You were doing
really tried.
well, and I was sweating. watching.
I think through like 14 holes, I was right on the edge, and then it kind of just fell off at the end, unfortunately. But
It was like as soon as I lost power, it's like you lost all your power.
yeah. So actually, you talking about kind of just you feeling meh about video games and stuff like that made me think of another thing I had here as a topic, which is, did you ever see anything about Dr. Disrespect this week and his overall feelings?
I did. I watched his little video and I read an article about it.
Yeah, so he has this interesting thing. Well, obviously there's a whole Twitch ban. We've talked about that extensively. Go back and watch previous episodes if you really have no idea. But I feel like if you're watching and listening to this podcast, chances are you know what's up. He really is isolated now, though, because not only could he not stream on Twitch anymore, he can't stream with any Twitch streamers. So he's having a hard time finding people to enter into tournaments with. He's having a hard time just finding people to do normal streams with. And it still seems like, and really it's an amazing act if it's not true, but it seems like he still has no idea why he got the ban. So he's just becoming increasingly frustrated with that. I think he just had one of those days where it was kind of a low moment. Usually he's very high energy, like, F it, we got it, like everything's cool type of thing. But he had a very human few minutes where he was just talking to his chat and just saying he's got a lot of anxiety right now and it's a tough time for him. And, again, assuming he has done nothing illegal, I feel for him.
I totally agree. It was tough to watch because I don't really know how to respond either because I really don't know what to really say because I do feel bad for him and I would want to know if I were him. And like I think what he was saying where like the previous times he had obviously done something wrong and he had something to apologize for.
Right, and he could
this time he knows nothing, so he can't even say sorry for anything he did intentionally, non-intentionally.
Yeah, sometimes knowing, even though it was you that messed up and you were the one who feels bad about it, is better than just
I literally
Do we need to stop the podcast? Should we cut? Do you think it's a bad cord?
It could be.
Hold on. Hold on. Try it.
Hello?
That sounds good.
Maybe it was like a Nintendo
Whoa,
cartridge?
that sounds really good now.
Oh, yeah?
This is
But,
the
like,
best
if I
it
touch
sounds.
something?
No,
Wait a minute.
it's totally fine now. What did you do?
I did the whole Nintendo move.
You literally just blew on it.
Blew on both ends, and yeah. Wild. If that wasn't a throwback.
I
right
almost
there.
feel like we just got to leave that in at this point. Might do a quick cut. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here.
I'm so upset.
You seem a little out of sorts right now. Are you okay?
No, I I hate technological problems because like you know me in Twitch chat, I am tagged as a boomer. And like I swear it's not always my fault.
It's not. You really know just as much about tech as me, and I work in IT. Like,
I try.
yeah.
Oh my god, do I try?
You actually know more
Try.
about like specific PC streaming setups than me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you want to like take a minute? You okay?
No, we're good. We're good to go now.
Okay.
But maybe you can give me like a little wink if it starts doing it again.
Okay.
Wait, you closed both your eyes.
Did I?
Oh, the other one is just barely
It's a
there.
slit.
What?
What happened in this podcast? Wait, I can't really wink that well.
No, you really can't. I'm very concerned, actually.
Looks like I'm having a stroke.
My mouth is very extreme when it moves. This is not very good audio content for those listening.
Yeah. I mean, I could obviously move my mouth up. Like, does that look any better? No.
A little bit. Nope.
All right. Well, this kind of went off the rails a little bit.
This is definitely our worst podcast yet. But hey, maybe we can only go up from here, I think.
Probably. I feel like you spent about 15 minutes just thinking about your microphone.
I need to de-dust it.
This is going to be a pain in the ass to edit now.
But so if you think about it, it has been around for a long, long time. It's probably dusty in some ports and stuff, and so maybe a good blow is all it needed. I mean, maybe a good dusting is all it needed.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
All right, so back to Doc for a second.
Okay.
It's I like the I just want Twitch to come out and say it. Like
What is taking? Will we ever hear about it?
I think we will. I think we will eventually, but I think there's a lot of like
It's
I think-
all in legal.
I think Doc's lawyers are doing stuff and Twitch's lawyers are doing stuff. And
But that's the thing. If
everything's
Doc's lawyers are
NDA
doing
until-
stuff, like he must know something.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if he's NDA, which would make sense, he's just straight up lying. Like it doesn't. I mean, who knows? He could be.
Yeah, if you were NDA, you'd probably want to avoid it at all costs.
Right. You'd probably want to just say, I can't talk about that subject instead of what he's saying right now.
Yeah.
Unless he's just dumb and his whole legal team is like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know.
I don't know either.
So we can bring up another one of our typical streamers that we talk about. There's this guy named Shroud or something.
He's a pretty small streamer, right?
Yeah, he just started on Twitch or something.
Oh, he did just start on Twitch. You're right.
Yeah, he's just starting out. He's gaining a lot of popularity very quickly.
Mm.
But one thing I've noticed very, very recently is like, first thing we got to remember is that Shroud just walked away with a bunch of money from Mixer.
Big bag.
Big old bag. Not as big of a bag as Ninja, but he walked away with a pretty big bag.
Just doing fine.
Yeah, he's doing fine. He is running ads left and right.
Oh, really?
Not necessarily on his Twitch streams, but he's doing actual hashtag ad sponsors, like full streams that are sponsored.
Huh. Well,
By,
I feel like he used to do that quite a bit.
Movie. He did?
Yeah.
I've never seen it like this.
I
Like
don't know.
I've never seen him team up with like a movie coming out that he was like sending links to Fandango to go buy tickets.
Yeah, I think I saw like, wasn't it like in his top left corner too? Like it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, and his tweets were so like copy pasted from the team of the movie. And
that is interesting that he's doing that now after he's already made so much.
I know, and I kind of pin him as like the most organic streamer I watch. Like, give it to you straight, like.
Yeah, when I said he used to do ads all the time type of thing, it used to be more games would sponsor him to be played on stream, which to me felt, I don't know, a little bit better because it was still like his genuine reaction to the games and like that kind of thing, but it was a sponsored stream. But yeah, I that's interesting. I haven't really noticed it as much. I'm not a huge Shroud viewer. I do pop in from time to time, but I know you watch him quite a bit. So that is an interesting thing to have noticed lately, especially after we know he's just rolling in it.
Yeah. So, but he did do another gaming one. He's done a couple for the Avengers game, the new one.
I did see that.
Coming out or is out now or something.
So many people say that game looks great. What? I always feel like I'm crazy because first off, again, I'm the guy who doesn't care that much about graphics. I'm buying a new GPU. Don't tell my wife. I don't care that much about graphics. It's more about the overall gameplay to me. And I just talked about on the last podcast how much I love the Avengers. But to me, the game looks awful. It looks like just another one of those like typical superhero video games that is just like, it's almost hard to make a video game with superheroes because they're too OP. And if they're not OP enough, then it's not like the movies that you love and know. And I also just think the graphics don't look that good. There's something about the movement and animations. I think like the general, the ground and the background and the characters look okay. But there's something about the movement and animation to me that maybe it's almost that they're hitting like an uncanny valley type of area where it is like they're trying to look too realistic towards the movie and they fall a little bit short. So my mind's just like weirded out. Your mic's doing it again, by the way.
I'm going to change mics.
I can't wink. Okay. But yeah, for some reason, every time I've looked at comments or chat, I'm just vamping. Basically, I feel like I'm crazy because I'm looking at this game and I just think it looks awful. What do you think about it? Did you watch that stream?
Can you hear me?
It sounds great. Not as good as the last mic, but at least there's no feedback.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I didn't watch too much of the stream just because I'm not into superhero movies as much either.
Sure.
So it doesn't appeal to me.
Well, I'm into superhero movies, just to be clear.
The what?
I'm into superhero movies.
Yes. I'm not into superheroes like really at all.
Right.
So it doesn't instantly appeal to me that way. But yeah, I watched a couple minutes of it. It didn't seem that amazing. Like
I
I've
don't I
seen
don't get it.
graphics of the Spider-Man movie or the Spider-Man game,
The
and that looks
Spider
amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. The Spider-Man solo game to me looked so much better, and I played that on PS4, and it was a great fucking game.
Hmm.
This does not look like it's it.
Yeah. Freaking frame, bruh.
It's just the worst podcast ever.
I literally, and it's all my fault.
It's not your fault. It's your equipment. Oh, that's the thumbnail.
You're dead to me.
Oh, wait a second. Let me write down the timestamp on that for the thumbnail.
Oh.
Where do we go from here? I don't even have any more topics. This has just been a jacked up podcast. We're at 49 minutes. Usually we've been going an
49
hour
minutes,
and
dude.
15, but it's
I
felt
got
like
one.
okay, go ahead.
I got one.
I was gonna say it's
Boy,
felt
do
like
I got
3
one.
hours. Go ahead.
So, if you remember from a previous podcast, we had talked about Ashes of Creation, the
Yeah.
big
Yeah, of
MMO.
course. Yes, that you said probably will not be as good as we're hoping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So on that same MMO front, it was like Ashes of Creation kind of came out of its ashes after this game called New World, which is being built by Amazon Studios, was delayed until 2021 for release.
Yep.
Well, the other day, they just came out with beta access for anybody who had pre-ordered the game. So all of a sudden, I'm seeing New World as the #1 Twitch category, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're not supposed to be here yet. What are you doing? And so I was so excited to get a glimpse into like Amazon's. It's not their first game release because they had come out with, what was it? Something that just didn't hit well. They came out with a previous Amazon game. I just can't think of it right now.
Yeah, I can't think of it either, but it wasn't super well received. Shroud actually played it a little bit.
Oh, it was that group
It looked
BR
weird.
type one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even.
It had the
remember what
weird
it's called.
looking characters and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It was-
Gambit style, like from Destiny 2, or it might have been in Destiny 1 too, where you like gather orbs and craft materials or do all sorts of stuff. It was very weird. It was not well received in the community.
Right.
So this was like another attempt at Amazon Studios games. And I don't know if you watched any of it, but
I watched like the
sit well with me.
first. Yeah, I was gonna say it was kind of like the superhero thing with you. Again, I'm not into MMOs overall. I know you are very much. This is like the exact opposite. It's funny. You are really into MMOs. I was excited about Ashes of Creation just from watching the few like videos with streamers around it and just like the promises of it, which again, they probably won't meet. But I watched maybe 10 or 15 minutes of Summit playing New World, and I just went to a different stream. Like, it didn't hold my interest at all.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's just a beta thing, and maybe they take some good criticism and maybe shift it up a little bit. But one thing I like about MMOs is when you can lock onto a target. And this wasn't the case. This was very aim heavy.
Oh.
And it's like, I feel like an MMO is very grindy to start with. Like, you have that in mind when you pick up an MMO. And to have to put that much more effort and calculation into where you're aiming and stuff, it's like you can't just hit buttons. It's like you have to actively be aiming.
Right, because isn't it usually like you're using certain abilities or magic or effects, and so it's more like area of effect attacks, and so you want to lock onto it, but then you can just kind of hit a button and the spell goes towards it, versus like actually having to aim at something to try to kill it, because usually there's a lot of stuff happening too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want like AoE damage just in a certain area type of thing. So yeah, that's interesting. It doesn't have targeting. Are there other MMOs that don't have targeting?
Yeah, so it seems like all the newer ones coming out are that way. So
Oh,
like
really?
yeah, ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, has a semi-targeting based gameplay,
Okay.
but it literally highlights that it's not an actual like dot on your screen that you have to aim at something. It's more of like if you see your enemy highlighted in red, that means you're close enough and facing them enough that your attack is going to hit them.
Oh, okay.
But
So it's
this
not
is
like
literally
hold to lock
like,
on type of thing.
yeah. This
Right.
is literally like you're going to have to pull your bow back. And you're going to have to wait, anticipate where they're moving or stuff like that. And it's just like, it seems a lot for an MMO
What do you think
that is
about
very grind intensive.
Amazon getting into games in general? I mean, obviously they own Twitch, so they're in the kind of sphere of it, but game development is very different than Twitch.
I would say I'm not against it, but I kind of have like very high. I have a lot of hesitations with it, but at the same time, anything Amazon kind of touches usually turns into gold eventually. So it'll probably be beneficial in the long term for us gamers, honestly.
Of course, I hope so. I'm not against it either, really. I'm not like, Amazon should be doing this type of thing. But there was, I'm going to have to find a link to put this into the description. But there was a video that came out I watched Summit's reaction to this video. So I didn't watch the full video myself. But I think it was called like The Decline of Gaming. And it was talking about how basically gaming over time has become incredibly corporate. And that basically there's just kind of remakes of things all the time. There's a sort of remake of the same concept, and there's not much fun new flavors of things outside of like indie games. And a lot of these studios seem to throw a ton of money at something, which I think Amazon can obviously do, but it's not from the same place of wanting to make a good game. It's more from a place of wanting to make money off of their game. And I just distilled I think it's a 45-minute long video down into 2 minutes. So obviously there's a bunch more caveats around the point this person was making. I think some of it also just has to do with whenever you get older in any sphere or topic, you tend to think, oh, it was better back in my day. That's just kind of a natural bias. But it got me thinking when you brought up Amazon Studios of that video, because it's obviously just this huge corporation that's not getting into it because they love games. It's how do we make money off of this different market type of thing. So that doesn't mean they can't make a good game. I mean, obviously to sell better, a better game will usually sell better. But it is interesting to me that it's just this huge corporation that's never been in this space. I guess now that they own Twitch, maybe they learned a little bit more about it, and they're like, oh, we could try to grab some of this market share here.
Yeah, and I think what's almost like the perfect combination is good corporate financial backing, but solid development team. And so that the intentions behind the game are correct at the point where corporate doesn't dig in too much.
Yeah.
Because corporate's always going to be like, well, no, let's add those transactions here.
Right.
And the game developers aren't usually going to want to do that because it might ruin the integrity of their game. But while you were talking about this, literally the only thing I could think of was No Man's Sky. and how like if that doesn't exemplify exactly what a development company should do when they love a game, like there's really no better example.
Well, and I guess along that vein, could you see what's the name of their what's the name of the
Oh,
company?
I can't think of
Hello
it right
Games.
now.
Hello
Hello
Games.
Games. Hello Games.
Can you see the same thing happening if it was a game that came out published by Amazon Studios?
No, they
Never.
would drop it. They would change their whole development team to focus on a new game.
And they would just be like, we got, because No Man's Sky, when it first came out, was very successful financially, but it received a ton of backlash. And I think in part it was not good from the start because Hello Games was forced by Sony to get it out, because it was a PS4 exclusive to start. We're making a lot of accusations here, but I mean that's kind of what it seems like. It probably wasn't ready. They had all these plans, but they just couldn't get it out in time, and Sony was kind of pushing them to go before they really should have. But if Amazon made the kind of money that they made, off of the game, and there was bad backlash, it's just a corporation. They wouldn't have given a shit. Like they would have been like, well, we made the right financials. Let's move on to the next game. But Hello Games, all credit to them. They did screw up when it first came out. It was really not what they advertised at all. But they've worked on it for years afterwards, and it's in a much better place right now. And if you enjoy that kind of exploration game, it's a great game at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was the perfect example, honestly. That's a much smaller development company. I think this was their first title that they came out with under Hello Games. And they really stuck with it because they had the passion for the game itself and wanting to better the game itself versus just to make the money off of the game.
100%. It turned into a passion project because that's how it started too. And what blows my mind is, first of all, they had the most ambitious idea of what this game could be. Like literally an ever-growing game, just like our universe,
Right.
is insane. And so like to miss the mark on release isn't unexpected, I would say. They missed it by a larger margin that would be considered expected, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, they also didn't have to make their large, huge, game-changing updates free. But every single update to the game has been free since anybody's bought the game.
I mean, they basically just reinvested most of what they made, I'm sure, into the further development of it. I mean, paying a development team to continue to work on it for years and years. I know they made a lot of money off of it to start with, but I bet, they're not like multimillionaires now who just left. They've really been trying to improve it. And yeah, I would be interested to see if Hello Games comes out with anything else, what that would be like from the get-go. Because I'm sure they've had a lot of lessons learned, and like we said, they are definitely a passionate development company, and that's really who you want to see more and more games from.
For sure. Yeah. And they're still coming out with updates. Like Restoration or whatever just came out as an update for No Man's Sky.
Oh, cool.
Like a whole bunch of new stuff.
Wild. My headphones just became disconnected.
Jesus Christ. What is going on?
This episode is cursed. Okay, I'm back. What were you saying?
This is what we get from moving it to like Saturday.
I'm sorry. What were you saying? Cursed episode?
I was saying their new update just came out, Restoration or something. And so they're still working on that. So I don't even know if they have another game in the pipeline or whatnot.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, eventually they're going to have to come out with something that's costs money, right?
Yeah, you would think so. Because I don't think there's any transactions within the game either that I can think of.
No, I think it's all in-game currency.
Yeah, I think so too.
which is
So
nice. That's a breath of
yes,
fresh air, honestly.
yeah,
Yeah. The
but
the
no,
only
I would.
time I really forgive transactions if it's a free to play game that's at base, like at start.
Yeah, I agree. And cosmetic only.
Well, I feel like it should be cosmetic only in general. Like I don't know how I feel about a full price game that also includes cosmetic purchases. I guess it's okay. To me that just seems a little bit more like a clear cash grab than if it were to be free to play to start with. Honestly, I think they companies probably make more from just starting it as free to play and then selling cosmetic.
Probably.
But I
Probably.
don't know.
Should we talk about the number one game that was most definitely a passion project that we fell in love with at college? Do you anything off the top of your head right now?
Of course, The Witness.
Oh, The Witness. The Witness, one of the most simple but complex and beautiful games of our generation.
Have we not talked about this on the podcast before?
No, no,
Oh.
we haven't.
All right. So I feel like we got to tell just the whole story around
Go
this
for it.
cuz
Yeah.
it's not just the game. I think it was just our whole experience playing it together as well.
Mhm.
But basically we were Ryan and I met in college. That's how the Little King started. Um, we were into gaming together, although not heavily, I feel like.
No, we were very casual Rocket League, FIFA on your couch kind of
Right.
people.
It was very and like most of our hangouts. I mean, I think now because we're so remote, most of our hangouts revolve around gaming. But even back then, I feel like neither of us played that much video games, and we definitely didn't have like a shared passion for video games at the time. We did have it for more like filmmaking and stuff at that point. But yeah, one day I just saw this game on Steam called The Witness. I didn't really know much about it. I saw that it was from this independent developer, Jonathan Blow, who had made Braid, which was really successful. I had never really played Braid, to be honest. And he did have a development team as well, not to not give them credit. I do forget the name of the company, though. Anyways, it was a puzzle game. And I was like, this could be kind of fun. And I think, Ryan, were you over when I first started it? Or,
Yeah, yeah, we started it at the exact same time.
okay. So I was like, and this was like even more special because the way I had my apartment set up back when I was in college was there was the couch out in the living room, but that was only my PlayStation 4 that was hooked up out there. So we had to go into my bedroom at my desk. We had to like pull up a chair from the kitchen, slide that over, and put that in my room. And we started this game. It was maybe 5 or 6 o'clock on a. It was a weekday for sure, right? Yeah. It was like right after classes. Start this game. First kind of couple of puzzles, super simple. But they kind of open up into this world that's beautiful. Like the graphics are simple. Like there's not a shit ton of polygons. It's not like the most complex images, but very, very beautiful. It's this island that's kind of got this shroud of mystery around it, but incredible landscapes. And then you start doing these puzzles. And you see, there's another panel of puzzles over there. Oh shit, this looks really hard. I don't know how to do this one. And then you realize, oh, you could try any puzzle for the entire game right now. But you just don't know how to do them because you haven't learned the concepts from everywhere else type of thing. And I don't know if you want to say anything else towards the game itself, but man, we just, for some reason, got pulled in. We just fell in love. And I think we played till like 1 or 2 a.m. that night. We were texting each other like as Ryan left. It was almost like a first date where it's like you couldn't stop talking to the other person because like Ryan left my apartment. We were like, this game is so incredible. Oh, I think I know how to do this one by the ship. Like, what if we do this type of thing? We were like drawing it out on paper. We were with like all this stuff going on, and then basically we go to bed that night. Next day, should we skip our classes and just play the witness? You come over.
What did we do?
We skipped our classes and played the witness. I think we must have put 30 hours into that game in 3 days, probably.
And the thing is, I think what did we end up doing? We ended up ordering 4 servings of Guthrie's, which was our
That's right.
our go-to like fried chicken place in Tallahassee.
That's right.
We ordered 4 servings of Guthrie's at lunchtime, ate it for lunch, just so we wouldn't have to leave again for dinner.
I forgot about that portion. Yeah. Oh my god.
So smart.
But to this day, one of my favorite gaming experiences of all time.
Absolutely.
And I think it was partly because it was shared, or probably mostly because it was shared together. But also that game was just incredible. And it was not a type of game that I would normally think anything of, really. But you could tell Jonathan Blow and his team really put the time into thinking about those puzzles individually, but more the entire picture of that world and the experience that you go through.
Yeah, I thought one part that was really funny of like our interaction with the game was we basically turned into that couple that like they promised to only watch Netflix together, and then when you find out the other person did a couple puzzles without you, you get livid. That was us.
I remember that.
I was like, wait a minute, this door wasn't open last time I was here. What the hell did you do?
I remember that. Well, I think what happened was I had totally planned to play it just with you, but then our friend Tom came over one time, and I was like, you have to see this game. And of course, you can't just show someone the game without doing some of the puzzles. And Tom likes puzzles in general. So he started to get obsessed over the game as well. But I made sure to be like, all right, Tom, I got to stop. Like, I got to play this with Ryan. It was so like that, though. That's so funny. I remember that.
So I guess going back on what my most anticipated or most wanted sequel is, I would say The Witness 2.
Oh my god.
That would be like
You're
that would
so
literally
right.
make 2020 for me if he were to just drop it.
So I think if that happened, I think we would have to take time off of work, and either you would have to come down here or I would have to go up there, and we'd have to play that in person again.
100%.
Like, not even streaming it together type of thing. Like, just you and me off stream, like the good old days.
Yep.
Order some fried chicken, basically sleep, like just go to sleep, wake up, play The Witness.
You got yourself a date if that day ever comes.
Oh man.
Even if they come out with something relatively similar to the concept of The Witness.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a straight sequel. I agree.
Yep. 100%.
Oh,
it's in my calendar.
I'm so excited now, even though there's no indication at all. I have looked a few times since then. Like, is there going to be a Witness 2 kind of thing? And I haven't really seen much. They've like ported it to other platforms, which
they
I thought
ported it to mobile.
Yeah, well, I thought it was really smart for the iPad in particular. Because,
that's true. Yeah,
because the puzzle panels were like basically an iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That development studio did come out with a new game.
Oh, they did?
Not recently, but it was like last year. It was a very weird. It was like a chess type League of Legends style game.
Oh.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it took place in like a garden, and it was movement based, and yeah, it was interesting, but it was unlike anything I've really seen before.
Huh.
But it was like a strategic. I would say it was similar to like chess.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting. Yeah, so that's not exactly up our alley, unfortunately.
no,
Yeah.
no. But I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled,
Yeah.
and I'll be ready.
I'm
I'll
like
be ready.
I'm like looking it up on my other. I'm totally out of the podcast right now. That's how much I liked this game. What was the name of the development studio?
Honestly, I was just looking up Jonathan,
Yeah, I just
because I don't know if Jonathan maybe went to another development company to make this game, but I just followed him. I saw him give
right.
like a 30-minute talk about
He gives
the
yeah,
design and
he gives a
rendering
ton of
and
different.
stuff.
He used to I don't. He might still do it currently. He used to stream on Twitch when he was programming.
Really?
Yeah, he's made a game programming language itself.
Huh.
Yeah, he's super into programming. And actually, the reason why it's funny because we talked about passion for gaming.
Hmm.
The reason why he got into making games was not necessarily because he was super into games. I think he had a decent enjoyment for them, but he wanted to do what was the absolutely most difficult type of programming. And he
Which is
thought
what?
making games.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then, did he create his own language to make it more efficient,
Yes.
or okay?
He's
Okay.
like, I mean, I watched a few of his streams. I have a very high level understanding of programming. I've done very basic, and a lot of his stream just went over my head. But I mean, he was to the point of like just getting a minuscule amount of memory utilization better because he was writing his own language type of thing. So he's very into the technical style. It was published by Thekla Inc. Thekla.
I don't think I even could have guessed that.
No.
Like, if you gave me a list of 5, I couldn't have picked that one out.
Yeah.
Huh?
Should we give a little bit of a spoiler of the game of The Witness?
How big of a spoiler?
I was going to like spoil it, basically what the end was.
Oh, don't do that.
Okay. Go play it.
Yeah.
Go play it. And when you think you're at the end, you're probably not at the end.
Yes.
How about that?
Okay, that's good.
Can we
And
talk about
maybe-
the other type of puzzles?
No, I don't want to give too much
Okay,
away.
all right. Go play The Witness. It came out 4 years ago. But
Go play it.
that's fair. All right,
Literally
go
go
play
play
it.
it.
Go play it. Let us know if you've played it, then we can talk spoilers.
Gosh, now I want to give a spoiler. No. Okay, here.
How about we
here's a
say?
question.
How about we say this will probably be the last topic of the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Spoilers ahead for The Witness.
Yeah.
You should absolutely go play it if you haven't played it. Spoilers ruin it, basically, because just doing the puzzles themselves is not that interesting. I mean, it's still hella interesting, but please go play it if you haven't. Now, if you've played it, let's talk spoilers.
I'm gonna ask a very vague question, and I want to get your
Okay, this
your
is fun.
what you think the most accurate response would be.
I like it.
So I know you're into speed running.
Yeah.
What do you think the fastest time ever speed running any percent this game is?
Oh, it's got to be 15 seconds.
Yep. And it's not even necessarily a like gaming the system.
There's
like,
nothing
it's-
technical about it.
Yeah. There's no pixel perfect things. I mean, there's
if you're gonna get the top one in the world, you have to run correctly. But
yeah, that's it.
I know that is the best part. That is the best part.
The beginning is really the end, and it like.
Oh,
Dude.
So we can say it. Spoilers.
Okay, spoiler. This is like the real spoiler.
This is spoilers. Stop if you haven't played it. The fucking first gate. Environment. Okay, first off, environment puzzles, which was a mind-blowing moment at first. You're so used to looking at these little panels. They all start with the dot and the line. Hey, that river kind of looks like the puzzles, huh? Hey, couldn't we go to solve a puzzle even when we were outside of the puzzles? That was weird, right? Huh. Why don't we... Well, let's try it. Let's try it. Starts glowing when you hover over the river. Holy shit, there's environmental puzzles too. Oh my god. And then the final puzzle is literally the sun touching the first gate illumination. You just go to the end. It's incredible. So good. So
and
good.
It was when we thought we finished the game after that.
The mountain.
The mountain song that every time I hear the song, I think of The Witness now.
There was two what we thought were the endings.
Yeah.
Because first was just the bottom of the mountain.
Yeah.
Before we even unlocked, like, wasn't it like the side or something? Like how did we?
Yeah, you get to the top, you go down the top to the bottom, you solve those rings with the
like
water.
under by the water. Yeah. And then you go in the elevator thing.
You get into the elevator, and the elevator brings you all the way back to like literally the beginning. Mm-hmm. And you float back to where you started the entire game with no credits.
Like Willy Wonka style type thing. Yeah.
It's just...
It was very tranquil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you're sitting there, you see the first puzzle that just looks like a thermometer, like it's literally just a straight line, and you're like, is that it? Did we do it? And then it's like, nope.
Yeah. Then there's like two more endings, basically. There's getting into like the actual other part of the mountain, playing, and actually that could be the interesting speedrun portion, is the challenge puzzle. Where it's based off the music. And then the final environmental puzzle, which actually shows you the ending of the game, which is why I was asking about the spoilers, because that shows the development studio. It's like this little house that he wakes up in. And it's like the weirdest fucking video where he's like, I think what it probably is like a commentary of how you kind of feel after playing that game, because he's like trying to do the puzzles in real life type of thing. And I almost wonder if it was him after getting so into the development of this, which is like even further than if you were gaming it. And he's just like seeing these puzzles everywhere and just kind of losing his mind. That was kind of my interpretation of it.
Yeah, well, because we know firsthand that is exactly what we started seeing was
I know.
These puzzles everywhere.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
Like
there's a subreddit called r/thewitness, which was fun when the game first came out, and actually it was an amazing community because they were really good about spoilers. Like people would ask for help on certain puzzles, and they'd be like, "No," or like say it in a way that it wasn't really a spoiler because they thought that was very important. But now all it is, I've looked so many times at that subreddit just hoping there'd be some news. Now all it is like, found this puzzle in real life. And it's just a picture of the dot and the line. That's it.
Oh,
people have gotten tattoos of the Witness.
That'd be cool.
I would.
So yeah. One more piece of technology that I hope comes in our lifetime. Oh my God. We could probably make this another hour podcast, but I'll totally save this for the next one when we don't have any technical issues too. I'm waiting for the day that I can pluck the game memory out of my mind to replay something for the first time. To
That's
play it
that would be a
unbiased,
great podcast.
what?
First time experience podcast type thing. That would be a great podcast. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, like Men in Black type, like your memories
but,
erased.
like, the thing is, I don't want to forget the experience that we had with the game, but I want to just forget the way of solving the puzzles in the game to rediscover the entire.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, I think we've probably forgotten at this point how to do the individual specific puzzles.
I remember all of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There was like 500 and something.
Well, like, I remember all the techniques of all of them.
Okay. I don't know. I think after like finagling around with it a little bit, I probably would too. You're right.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest problem is not the puzzles itself. The biggest problem is that we remember the key things that happen. And that's really more what was so cool about it. It wasn't just... If it was just the panels of puzzles sliding through, it would not have been the same experience.
Right, yeah.
So.
Because I specifically remember one area. It was like the pyramid style area.
Yeah.
Or the sand
with
area.
The sunlight that
like,
would hit the...
We literally... We tried to do it for so long and we just gave up and left because we just couldn't figure it out.
That's
and then one time we see it from a specific angle and we're like, wait a fucking minute.
Yeah. That's what was so smart about that game, was that everything could be done at the very beginning. You could technically solve each puzzle, and some could even be solved at the same time. Like they were at the same level of each other. We could go to maybe 3 different areas with the same level of knowledge. But yeah, it was just like, for some reason, if you just didn't hit it at the right time, you could never figure it out. But then there's like this aha moment. And there are so many of those like, whoa type moments.
Mm-hmm. Because even a ton of the beginner puzzles in each section, you're like, okay, it's solved, but I'm still not sure how.
Right.
Like there were only 3 ways to go. That 2 of the ways solved it, but I still don't understand it.
Right.
And it's not until you hit like the 4th or 5th one that you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
And then it just builds, gets more complicated. It's like the feeling of each puzzle solve was just like the best feeling.
It really was. Yeah, when you'd unlock the laser at the end of an area too.
Oh, stop.
I'm so glad you brought this up because this was like the cursed podcast until now. Because like I am just in the best mood ever because I'm remembering this experience we had together.
I know.
I want to go play it. I want the memory out. You're right.
I do. I want it out.
Because I have tried to play it again a few different times. It's fun to show other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've done that a few different times. But honestly, you need a long time because they don't get that experiential feeling until they play it for a while. It's not like you can at a get together where you have an hour show them really.
I kind of think it's your first laser gets you hooked.
Yes.
Because it's like, what did it shoot at?
Yes.
Why is it shooting there?
Yeah.
And then you're like, I gotta know. I gotta know.
Yeah. And what I do whenever I show it to someone is I just hand them the controller and I'm like, go ahead. Like you should not really say anything to them. Mm-hmm. And eventually they'll get like wait, this shoreline looks like a puzzle. And you're just like,
weird.
Like, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up.
I know we're now in the spoiler section, so many people might not have gotten to this point, but I want to bring up Hello Neighbor real quick, just because I did play it on stream. It's one of those puzzle solving games, and there's like, I wouldn't recommend playing them on stream. Just because you have people come in and they give you unwanted clues, maybe not as like discreet of a clue as you would like, because sometimes you want clues.
You had a guy in there that was literally like, walk up to the left, do this thing and that thing, and then you're done. And it's
And the thing is, I'm a streamer. I need to read chat. Like,
right.
I can't just blur that out in my mind.
Yeah, we were trying to ask you as mods if we should time that person out. Just like, you know, nicely say, hey, you know, we get that you're trying to help, but also like, this is the kind of the whole thing is that it's natural to get a little frustrated from it and just try to figure it out.
I mean, in my defense, it had been like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
So I could forgive the first one, honestly, because it had been so long. But then, like, he kept doing it. Yeah. And it was what I had suggested, and I had never played the game. I suggested it like 15 minutes in.
You came in and you just instantly said, oh, well, maybe it's there. Maybe you got to get on the roof. What? Are you kidding me? It's like, I don't think I can get up there.
I almost wonder if part of it was because you were streaming, so you're not like 100% focused on the game.
That's a good point too.
Just to forgive yourself. Let's just say it was that.
That's definitely what it was. For sure.
All right. Well, this
stretched the how long?
Yeah. Well, we thought it was going to be 40 minutes. It's an hour and a half now. Yep.
It's been an hour.
It's been an hour and a half. This is the longest podcast we've ever done, the Cursed Podcast.
But we'll cut out a portion of.
Should I cut out some of that?
I don't know. If the static was too bad, yeah, maybe.
So like the first half an hour of the podcast?
Are you serious? You didn't tell me it was staticky?
I was trying to tell you, but it's like at the same time we got to do it, you know? I think it'll be okay. Because also, like, the last time we were doing this, it sounded really bad to me, but then when I went back in the recording, it was okay. So, just think of the witness, Ryan. Everything's fine. What a great experience that was. Thank you all for joining us if you made it this far. The cursed turned still semi-cursed, but fond podcast. Thanks for listening / watching The Little Kings. We'll see you in the next one where hopefully we've got all our shit fixed.
Never start a podcast. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. No, I'm kidding.
All right, goodbye.
Bye, guys.